Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary and Ms. Cipriani?
Cipriani. I apologize. I didn't introduce Eileen Cipriani, my Special Assistant for Strategic Initiatives, and my person to whisper in my ear when I say something wrong.
That doesn't happen often with Kathy. Excuse me, Madam Chairman. I'll have to get used to the formal title since we
Kathy still works for me, ladies and gentlemen.
Does Kathy still? That's
yes.
Great. We spent many a year on this side of the table, Kathy, doing what we're all doing on St. Patrick's Day, and that's looking for the pot of gold. I know this Appropriations Committee is working hard and will continue to work hard for the next couple of weeks. I miss it, and I'm sure you do. There's nothing more interesting than the discussion that we have in our appropriations hearings, and you're going to have that today. We're going to have that as a group. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to at least talk to you about a couple things that, as the chairman, are important to me to get covered. And I was delighted, of course, to hear you in your testimony talk really about some of those things as they relate to our job, which is helping to enhance and create a work-ready workforce. You talked a little bit about our OVR and what they do and the essential work and the way we constantly look on ways to help those who need our help in getting employment. So you probably paid attention, because I know you well, to a bill that we passed out of Labor and Industry just last week unanimously that takes it even a little bit further for those high school students that are looking towards graduation but facing some of those limitations, be they physical or intellectual, that hopefully won't keep them out of the workplace but get them there. So this particular initiative will take it a little bit further in bringing it into a partnership with the schools and our OVR that are doing great jobs already. I'm excited about it, as obviously unanimously everybody else was here. However, I'm hearing a little bit, but not directly yet, and specifically from OVR, so I'm going to the top, and that's you, with some concerns about implementation. And yet we're still talking about an increase in funding, which I think, is an important issue to discuss too. But $5 million combined with the federal match, can you be specific for me at all, Madam Secretary, on what those problems would be and how we're going to overcome them? Because I'm determined that we will.
Thank you very much for that opportunity. And I am thrilled with the initiative from your legislation, the companion legislation in the Senate, and the advocacy community in the I Want to Work and other areas. What Representative Gingrich is talking about, members of the committee, is very critical program that really will allow first of all, let me start with the Workforce and Innovation and Opportunity Act. There is a heightened emphasis on a lot of different things, including a heightened emphasis on serving young people. We have young people in transition in the state, ages 14 to 21, that we know if we can get to those folks, those people when they are young and in high school, and get them employment and training opportunities as part of their high school experience, they will successfully transition into the workforce. And that is absolutely a goal for OVR. We look forward to working with you on the legislation. I think it probably is a fair assessment to say we have some concerns just with regard to some aspects of it that we can work with you on, and it's only because right now OVR is all of L&I's programs and are not entitlement programs. We have many more people that would like our services than we have the ability to serve. Right now, we're serving about a third of the folks who look to us for service. The increased dollars will make a big difference, but the increased dollars will still not cover the whole universe. And it's very important to all of the communities that OVR serves that people understand that we are not going to turn our backs on any one community. So whether it is the hearing impaired or the visually impaired, the folks with intellectual disabilities who want to work, people with newly acquired disabilities that have to figure out how to do their old job now with their new physical limitations, as well as young people who want to get in the workforce. So we're looking for that new money that we're going to pull down to be able to enhance all of those programs. So the only thing that I would say to you is the concern that we can talk about is whether or not the way the language is written right now, and as it connects to people that have IEPs in the school, that that universe may be more than we can handle, and in terms of just the volume. So I think we want to work on how do we get what it is that we need to the students, do what we need to do in the schools, and be able to accomplish everything we have with the dollars that we have. So I look forward to working with you and the folks over at OVR on tweaking anything that might need to be tweaked.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate all those, arenas that we need to address without a doubt. We would just like to see the circumstances improve, the opportunities improve.
Absolutely.
So that these young people have something to graduate to into a meaningful job. And I'm looking forward to working on that. I have one other question, if the chairman will indulge me, because I really need to know an update. I need to talk about the solvency of the UEGF, the uninsured. I want to know where we are with that. I see that in our budget notes that we're looking at a $5 million transfer, which certainly could be reasonable from the Workers' Comp Administration Fund. But where are we now with the solvency? I don't see anything. I see the transfer, but I don't see anything from the administration on any structural reforms. I was not on the committee last year, and I have an intense interest now in what we wanted to do last year and didn't get done. So I'm interested in some of the reforms we could do rather than just making a transfer, which we really do need to do for solvency.
This is my little cheat sheet because I had so many different funds over L&I, I was getting them all confused. But and for those members who, if you were like me, what is the UEGF? The very short version is, it is a fund that this General Assembly created. It is a benefit for injured workers who employers weren't carrying workers' comp coverage, so they were injured on the job and they had nowhere to go, and this General Assembly decided that that wasn't fair, and so we created this uninsured employers guarantee fund for workers' comp. It is funded by a assessment of a surcharge on what the carriers pay into the workers' comp fund. Here's the problem, and it's a structural problem. The legislation that created it put a cap on how much of the premium surcharge can go into the UEGF fund. That cap means that fund is not bringing in enough money to cover the claims experience. And so back in 2011, there was a transfer or a and this time we're doing some short-term borrowing from the administrative fund, but we need legislative approval to actually do a transfer. And it seems that there are we feel very confident that the program internally is running well from a management point of view. What we need to do is look at whether or not that cap needs to be changed, whether or not the ability to transfer needs to be something that should be either more automatic or more regularly looked at, but is a structural problem with the way we set it up, and it needs a legislative fix.
And I alluded to some possibilities of reform in the system as well. I would hope that we could have that conversation looking at things like, at the moment, there's no documentation or evidentiary documentation necessary on, past wages, and things like that would make sense to me. So I'm looking at some reform as well as what you're saying, some structural changes. So hope we can talk about that in a broader sense. And I'm looking forward to it. Likewise, Madam Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.